everyone, Christina here. This is day 6 of the holiday card series for 2017, and today I'm going to be using the Snowflakes stamp set from Avery Elle. They do have a coordinating die set that you see on screen right now, but I'm just going to be using the stamps today to create a really fun gold embossed Christmas tree card. So I'm going to start out by creating a mask for my Christmas tree. I found the center of my cardstock here, and this is 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 inch tall Neenah Solar White cardstock. And I just made a mark that's just shy of 1 inch from the very bottom of the card. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line. And then I made a mark at the center top, and that's going to be the top of my Christmas tree. So I'm going to take some 2-inch wide Post-it masking tape, and I put that along the bottom, and I'm just taping this down to my work surface. I decided to move that dot up just a little bit on the center top of the card. Then I'm going to put my Post-it tape right on that dot and kind of swing it around and bring it down onto the very bottom. This is going to create the side of the Christmas tree. And then I'm going to take another strip of Post-it tape, and I'm going to meet it up with that dot that I've drawn, and then bring it down to the bottom. And doing it this way, just having a few measurements, helps me get a Christmas tree completely centered in the middle of this cardstock. Starting out with some Distress ink colors, this is the color Crushed Olive. I'm using a mini round blending tool to blend on the color. And I'm mostly bringing in this color in the top and a little bit down onto the right side. And then I took the color Forest Moss, and this is more of a subdued, almost more of a brownish green. And I brought that in on the side. And then the final color is Pine Needles, and I'm going to bring that up in the bottom corner and up to the side and have it meet both of those other colors. Where they overlap, it'll sort of create additional colors. So my vision for this was I wanted a Christmas tree shape with just different shades and tones of green so that it looks a little bit ethereal. And I really loved how the pine needles overlapped the crushed olive and the forest moss and gave it a really cool effect. So I'm pulling off all of my masking tape, all of my Post-it tape, and you can set those aside and use them for other cards if you want, or even the same card, just make duplicates. And I'm just setting those aside. And I love how crisp those lines are from all the blending. So now I'm going to start in on all of my stamping, and I'm going to arrange my stamps over top of this Christmas tree. I'm doing this now before I prep for all my stamping because I'm just letting the Christmas tree dry as much as it can. Distress ink, even if it's dry to the touch, it still takes a little bit more time for it to completely dry down. So you don't want to put your heat embossing powder on this right away because it will just stick to the entire triangle Christmas tree area. So I'm going to use a pencil and just put a little mark right on this grid paper that I have in my MISTI tool, and that's just going to give me a good guide for where I need to place that cardstock back into my MISTI when I'm ready to stamp. So now I'm doing a bunch of prepping to make sure this area is ready for heat embossing powder. I'm heat setting this, I'm helping the ink to dry some more, and then I'm taking an anti-static powder tool and going over that entire tree area. I'm very generously applying this powder. I don't want any of my gold embossing powder to stick to areas where I haven't stamped. And because I don't want it to do that, I'm going to test it before I even start stamping, because if it sticks now, then I can brush it off and then dry it some more and put more powder on, some anti-static powder to try to get this ready. All that I've done so far seems to have done the trick. So I'm putting my cardstock piece back into my MISTI tool, and I'm going to go ahead and coat this another time with my anti-static powder tool. I don't want this gold embossing powder going anywhere where I don't want it. So I'm taking my Versamark ink pad, and I'm inking up my snowflakes and also that greeting, making sure I get a really nice coating of my Versamark ink, and then I'll press down. And I'm really pressing down on each one of these snowflakes and on the greeting. I'm making sure I hit all those points because I pretty much know I'm not really going to have a chance to stamp this again. Just because I knew that the stamp would be sticky and kind of pull up that paper and move it around. So now I'm using some gold embossing powder. This is from Brutus Monroe. This is the color Gilded. And like I mentioned in a couple videos back, I'm trying out the Brutus Monroe embossing powder, and I've really been impressed with the colors I've used so far. I've used the white, and now I've used this gold shade, and it is a very finely milled powder. I've been really impressed with it. I'm going to keep using it for a little while longer, but this might be my go-to gold embossing powder. So I'm heat setting that with my heat tool until all of that powder is smooth and melted. And then I'm going to trim down this Christmas tree piece just a little bit because I didn't want it quite so big and had to have quite so much space around the outside. So I'm trimming this down to 5 inches tall by 3 3/4 wide. And I'm also going to be adding some gold paper behind it. So I'll be doing that in a minute here. I'm scoring some white cardstock for my card base. This is Neenah Solar White, 110 pound. And then here's that gold paper. This is some gold foil specialty paper from Altenew. And I'm gonna cut this so that it's just slightly bigger than my Christmas tree piece. And I just want a little bit of this gold to be sticking out around the edges of my stamped and ink blended piece. I'm using some Tombow Extreme adhesive just to adhere these two together. And it's going to give a really nice little thin, narrow border around this entire piece. Put some foam adhesive on the back, and then I'm placing that down onto the card front. And that finishes the card for today. I think this would be really, really fun to do a series of cards where you change up the color of the Christmas tree. You could even make one more rainbow, or shades of blue and purple would be really pretty as well. So this is day 6 of the holiday card series. I will be back tomorrow with day 7. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.